All right, and we're back. So I got the two that were missing, which was Rin and of course Rico here. So now we have everyone in order. So let's first dive straight into, I guess you could say, the moving of things. Now, some of you guys did agree with at least a lot of what I was saying here, but a lot of you guys also did kind of disagree with where certain characters were placed. So we're of course going to be getting those really rounded around here and at least moving things accordingly. Now, with this in subject here, I would like to say a lot of these characters I do believe are belonging where they belong, though some of these guys, just based on their usages and things like that, nowadays are not used. Does that make them bad characters? Heck no. Does that make them really good characters in just certain circumstances? It possibly can. So one of the few things that I want to do, we're gonna start moving people up first, and then we'll move certain people down. So one of the first people that we needed to move up without a doubt is going to be Floret. Floret has been an absolute asset, and I meant to make him an S last time because this character can hit just as hard as Mont, just a little bit under if of course you have your Mont absolutely built out. I would say that this character hits dummy just hard in general. It's very interesting to see a character do stuff like this, especially as a 4-star, but he makes himself known to actually be very, very useful. So surely do keep him up here. And I would like to say this is definitely way more useful and way more needed than you really think. Now, the next characters that I feel like that should be at least going ahead and moving up here is actually going to be a couple of these guys here. Now, naturally, I would normally disagree with some of them because I do feel like they shouldn't be up here, but their uses actually can be helpful depending if you don't have the extra fire characters, at least at your disposal. So one of those people are going to be Referu. Referu has made himself useful, especially when it does come to a mono fire team. Seeing a lot of folks will not probably have certain characters, such as just having an extra Rin laying around, or maybe having just a fire character in general to help you with that third seat. Unfortunately, he himself is staying where he is. As much as I love the dude, he's going to stay exactly where he is, and that's mainly just because, yeah, I'm just going to keep it real with you. My man is kind of washed. He's kind of bad at this point in time. And he is going to be one of the folks that's going to get moved at least down. I wouldn't say down a tier, but definitely down the list of C tiers. So it does kind of suck to see that, but it's another one of those characters that I feel like at this point in time, a lot of us don't really need what he has because we have Howler at the end of the day and there's no real usage for him. So it does kind of suck to say that, but the man is no longer as useful as possible. So it does kind of suck. The other character that I need to go ahead and just kind of move up is going to be Yuki, and the reason for this is because she's still usable to this day, even if you don't have certain things. Yes, we do have certain ice characters and things like that, but the majority is going to be like this character itself is actually very, very useful, especially for early game, mid game, depending if you don't have Cherish. Even with this in mind, I would not really put him down, or at least put her down there. So I need to go ahead and move her back up, and we're going to start with the moving down phase. Everyone else is pretty much staying where they need to stay. I don't really see a need to move anyone else upwards. I guess oh yeah, forget about the 5 stars. So we're talking about the 5 stars wise. 5-star wise, I do believe certain characters should be moving up. These characters that I believe are going to be going up here are going to pertain to a certain few that some of you guys may not agree with. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. All right. You cannot agree all day from this one, but I truly do believe Closer deserves to be moved up. She's not a high tier AoE character, but she is amazing. She does a ton of damage. Does she do more damage than Haru? No. Now, the issue is with this one here, her usability based on her own kit here is absolutely amazing. She does that damage that she needs to do, while Haru does fall flat in the content / also dealing damage deals on herself. So with this in mind, of course, I am putting at least Closer up here. Haru herself is absolutely amazing as well, where she can also join there. But the other only character that I'm going to be doing is, first we're going to move Haru up at least a couple bit on the actual tier list side here, but we're also going to move our man Yusuke, which deserves to be in kind of the S+ tier, but I'm mainly not putting him there for specific reasons of just damage right now and places that ice characters really aren't used at the moment. So we're really going to put him there. But we're gonna move him actually at the top of S tier and move actually our man, Cherish down of S tier here. Now, this is something I kind of believe that deserves to be here. Man, Yusuke, if we're thinking about it at the end of the day, is not a bad character. He's actually very, very good. Doesn't have many flaws, You just have to build him pretty darn good and have a team self-centered around him. The only issue is we don't have many content that's revolved around defense-based defense-based characters in which are needed for this here. Yusuke himself, without a doubt, does work on a lot of situations. The only issue with him is he does lack that type of content that is needed here, which is what's kind of keeping him out the door of S+ tier. And I feel kind of bad for that, but it does kind of happen, unfortunately. And I feel like that's where it's being. The rest of these characters are going to stay exactly where they are because they are definitely not bad. For you guys who've been, I believe Riddle should be lower. I'm sorry, you have not taken a look at Riddle's kit, seeing that she is actually way better than you think. Is she going to be used over other buffers? Probably not, which is why she has her place as a middle ground character. So with that being stated, we've done the moving around. Let's go ahead and actually just kind of move some other characters into there, which are the last two. Now this tier list is going to be fairly short, mainly just because we only have 2 units that actually move around here, which is quite wild. Normally with the last tier list that we did, of course, we didn't do them monthly. We had the months in between, so I had a lot of characters really add. This one we're going to start trying to do monthly. So I was going to do it last month here, but we had a lot of issues going on, a lot of problems were happening, so I could not do it last month. But we're definitely doing it at the start of this month just to get things started. So it is the 4th of this month here. We're going to try and do it every 4th of each month here to have a little bit of an updater. That gives us time to have maybe 2 to 3 characters that we can add towards this, and that would be absolutely amazing to do so, seeing we can then start moving characters around briefly and then keep moving from there. So we have the tier list up. Everything's looking good, right? Everything's looking kind of fine. The first character that we need to go over is the first in line, aka being Win Vast. Now Win Vast, if you guys don't know exactly what she does, she brought more of that buffing side that we needed to see inside of this game. The main reason I say this is because we've had, of course, those buffers, right? We've had some decent buffers, we had some decent like attack buffers, stuff like that, but she is a crit buffer. This is something that we've needed for the longest time. It's one of the reasons that Leon was so high in general to make this character absolutely amazing. And I would like to say this character definitely deserves to be more in the higher tier of things here. So no matter what, we're only going to be looking at S and S+ at the moment. So I'm going to give you my reasonings. If you don't know exactly what she does, she is a crit damage, crit rate buffer here that also provides with some win debuffs. This is actually already a great thing. She also helps with survivability, seeing that she's actually helping out with the SP recovery, and this SP recovery contributes to the crit damage side of things. So the more SP recovery that you do have, the more crit damage she can actually go ahead and offer for the whole team. This, no matter what, is going to be something that you're going to want to have here, and she also tops that off with also boosting up your attack and more. So with this already out of the way, we know exactly what she does. Her as a supporter and instead of a navigator is a little bit different. We didn't have really many characters that went from supporter, or at least went from navigator to support or navigator to any other role. So her being the first one to do so is already a huge feat. But this huge feat is also complemented with her moveset. Therefore, after doing a lot of extensive testing and actually really looking into her kit, I do believe that she belongs at the top of S tier. Now, I just put the man Yusuke there just to get trumped, unfortunately, but this character without a doubt technically belongs in S+ tier. But the reasoning why I'm actually baiting her off of the S+ tier is because of her usability with other teams. If you have her at least at A0, you really are buying it to just using her with the win team, which does kind of suck at the time. Really, if we're thinking about only win type DPSs and win team revolved here, your win team is either revolved around Florette, who's a 4-star, or revolved around Wind Mod. Those are the only options here in which Wind itself isn't in the greatest shape, especially when you're thinking of at least their team comps in whole. They have some decent team comps, but most of the characters that you want to use for the Wind team, you might use them in a different team that's going to supersede them to some extent. And even at that point, even if it doesn't supersede them to that extent, you're still binded with this character to only be useful in that said team. Now, of course, if they made her A1 to A0, which would have been way too broken, so I'm kind of glad that they made it at A1, but A1 allows it so they can go on multiple different teams here. So you're no longer bound to being at least in that one team. You now can be in multiple teams, seeing that her Wind of Vitality is actually now going to be able not go for wind damage, but go for elemental damage. This is something that really changed the tides, and if that was just a normal thing, she would definitely be an S+ character without a doubt in my mind. That character without a doubt is still amazing to this day, and boy oh boy does she hit very hard. So I mean, like, she can hit hard if you actually have her actually buffed up and actually buffed herself. Even though she's a supporter, I still want to say I probably hit like 120k with her or something like that, maybe a little bit more, and that was just me randomly doing a crit. So don't even know what happened there. But this character not only brings those like buffs, those nice old attack buffs and everything like that, the SP actual contributions, but she really just kind of changes the tide. So had to do a little bit of swallow for a second. So with that in mind here, I think she definitely deserves the position of S tier, at least in this tier list. So surely do keep your mind out, and if you do have this character, use her a lot. If you don't have her and she gets a rerun, be sure to get her. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next one. And something I just caught before before I actually did not notice it beforehand. Let me make sure what time it is. It's 11:07 at the point of the video. I accidentally have Rin above our girl Haru. This is just absolutely not true. So I am sorry about this, you Haru enjoyers out there. I did not mean to disrespect y'all like that, but Haru herself needs to be at least above Rin is them. And I kind of want to put Rin below at least Howler here, because I really do believe Howler's better than Rin as well. So need to quickly do those two little changes there. I will try to have this timestamped because yeah, that's a little bit of a mess up on my part, and I know some people are going to give me a little bit of problems about that. So sorry about that, you guys, but let's go ahead and get back to the next character. Slowly losing my voice, so we're going to try and speed up on this one here. The next character that we're going to be going over is Chinese New Year Rin here, or Rin Lion Dance, a lot of us like to call her here, in which this character, holy crap, brought in a new beat of damage. Okay, I didn't think that we would see a AoE damage dealer as high, as good as this character, but boy, they're good. So I would normally try to make a new tier for this, at least for something like that, and we will probably have like Cord Futaba and yeah, Cord Futaba, and then have Rin in that tier, because this is how high this character can really deal. But I'm not gonna really do that. I'm not gonna do that for this video. I don't feel like an extra tier is really needed. I mean, I could just put OP tier, and she definitely is one of the OP characters, because at A0, this character without a doubt can easily swat like 1.5 mil, 2 million in no time. As an AoE damage dealer, that is still stinking crazy. Okay, it's not like a single targeter. Like, we know single target Kazumi can do like 1 mil, 1.2 mil. That's easy. That's like crazy. Like, that's already awesome. But to see those numbers from an AoE character with ease at A0 is insane. So this character, without a doubt, you guys don't know exactly what she does here. She has a few things in her kit. She is a DOT slash just AoE DPS tier type character here, which her DOT mainly comes from at least the skill 2, which is mainly for the Year Fire. That Year Fire kind of acts as a fire just debuff itself, but this one hits multiple times instead of one time. So it's actually really good for knocking off a decent bit of health here, which is already nice. But her whole deal comes down from her form switch, which is the Shooting Star Greeting. Now with that here, or at least the Iron Flower Dance, which is her third skill here. Now what that does here, it allows her to actually increase her damage dealt and actually proc technical. This character was the first character that was actually emphasized on the technical side of things here. So it's very interesting to see how busted they really made her out. So she can actually use technicals with winded characters, fire characters, ice characters, and oh, excuse me for that, and electric characters as well. This character without a doubt does a ton, and I mean a ton of damage. I didn't think that she would be as busted as she is, but when I first got her, had her with the 4-star and the 5-star weapon, she was out here just smacking damage numbers like it was no one's problem here. With that in mind, this character, just based off of that, is already in the S tier category, but it gets even better. If you have burns inflicted, which you're gonna have burns inflicted, so you're gonna be using your skill 1 or having other characters with you, you are getting increased damage dealt. By using your skill 1 as well, you're also being able to increase the crit rate that you do have, which makes this even better. So I would suggest a lot of you guys, if you get the chance to get this character whenever she does come back, be sure to get her. She's absolutely insane. Her highlight not only increases the attack for herself, but also increases her actual damage dealt as well. So it just sets you up for big numbers. It really sets you up for that huge marker here. The only downside was this character came out at a very bad timing, seeing that this is where we kind of started to know when the Mr. Pancake Man, or Catchy of course, decided to come out and stuff like that. We started getting at least dates. We started getting a lot of all those things there. So a lot of people were kind of iffy on pulling, while me and a bunch of other people definitely weren't iffy on pulling, because holy crap, she's insane. But moving some things around here and actually putting where she belongs here, this character belongs in the S+ tier. Now, I don't want to put her too far ahead, at least of course Kazumi here, because she's a single target DPS and she's still one of the best single target DPSs out here. But I am going to put her right behind Kazumi here. So how the things should be looking here is we have Futaba up there, have everyone looking like this, and I'm actually going to put Marion in between here, because in order to really make closer work like absolutely amazingly, you will need Marion. So of course I wanted to keep her here. But this is how the tier list, I do believe, should look here. Rin definitely has claimed that spot as an S+ tier character. And I do believe some of these characters in the S tier need to go start moving down. But we'll try to at least do that in the next tier list video. For now, this is what I would say is the best of the best for the tier list here. Let me know if you agree with it down below in the comment section. Let me know if you don't agree with it, of course. I don't mind hearing constructive criticism, but just downright saying blah, 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 you're wrong and not actually saying anything else. I mean, like, I'm just gonna ignore you at that point. I don't already feel good, so please don't get on my bad side. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, slap that like button. Until next time, everybody, peace out.